How we doing? Welcome back to another episode of Redstone 101. I've been appreciating the support on the last couple of episodes, and I also hope you enjoy the super weird thumbnail I made in Blender. That took me a minute. Today we're going to be talking about item sorting and storage. This is going to be super useful once you get into your survivor world and you have a ton of items coming in and you don't want to hand organize and hand store all of them. So we're going to kick things off with one of the more interesting redstone components, the comparator. Alright, let's kick things off with comparators. So comparators are one of the most useful redstone components in Minecraft. And one of their main uses is they can measure the fill level of item containers in the game. That's stuff like cauldrons, hoppers, droppers, dispensers, chests, barrels, all of that. So right now there's 45 items in this hopper. And if we look over on the right side of this F3 screen, we can see that the power output is 2 right now. So the redstone signal can travel 2 blocks, leaving the comparator. If we add an additional item here, it changes to a power output of 3, which means it can light up this lamp over here, and we can do something with that signal in our sorters over there. So if this container was completely full, we'd have a power output of 15. It's based on the percentage full of containers, so if it's a double chest, you'd have to fill the entire double chest to get the full power output. Alright, here we got the most basic item sorter in the game right here. Let me show you inside the hopper really quick. So we have 4 filter items. These are items that should never enter this hopper. So you can either rename them to some special characters, call them filter, or you just don't have any emeralds and you never have to worry about that. Now, this is the item we're going to be sorting for, in this case diamond blocks. I understand that's not a very realistic scenario, but we have 18 and 4 right here. This makes it so our comparator can only output a signal strength of 1. If we add an additional item, the comparator can output a signal strength of 2, meaning it can travel 2 blocks. So essentially what we're doing here is the second one of the items we want to filter for enters this top container. The redstone signal can travel 1 more block, so it powers this block, which in turn powers this repeater, which in turn depowers this redstone torch, which then unlocks this hopper, and 1 more item can flow down. So let me just show you this in action here. So we add a ton of the items we're filtering for, and we can see this torch is depowered and items are making their way into this chest right here. And the second this gets back to 18 blocks, this torch will fire back on. It's going to lock that hopper and no more items will flow. Alright, so here's the most commonly used design, the tileable design. It's exactly what we used here, except we're taking advantage of a slightly longer redstone signal here. So if we look in this container up here, we can see we have 4 filter items, and then we have the item we want to be filtered for, which is our 41 diamond blocks, so we're filtering for diamond blocks. It's the exact same design pretty much, so if a single additional item that we want to filter for enters this hopper, the redstone signal can extend 1 more block, powers this block, powers this repeater, unpowers this torch. Both of these hoppers unlock and 1 more item can flow through. Alright, let's take a quick look at pretty much one of the most common item filter setups you're going to see. So we have a ton of these stacked next to each other because they are tileable. We're going to be filtering for a few things, grass, diorite, granite, stone, that kind of thing. So the way we input items here is we're just going to have a dispenser that dispenses them into a water stream. They're going to collide with this honey block, which is a slightly smaller block than most. So they're going to be right on the line here and then be able to fit into these hoppers below the honey block because the honey block is 1 pixel thinner right here. Alright, let's give this a little test here. So let's chuck a few granite in here. As you can see, the granite is grabbed by the hopper that can actually accept it. So it's being filtered down into this chest all the way down here. So you got your standard hopper line going down into the bottom chest. If we chuck some items that could not be filtered for, let's say wood, as you can see, they're just going to make their way to the end here because none of the hoppers can accept them because none of the filters have wood in them. Alright, it keeps going. So what you'd really want to do here is you'd have these chucked into fire or something. Anything you don't want to sort, you'd put somewhere else. Alright, we're going to be switching gears just a little bit here, and we're going to be talking about Shulker Box Loading. So let's go to our little demonstration over here. As you can see, we have almost a full shulker box full of diamond blocks, and we have a redstone block that is powered into a comparator here. So if you don't know, comparators can take signals from both sides. You can set them into subtract mode. I'm going to do a more detailed video on comparators later, but basically This comparator can only give an output once the shulker box is completely full. So as you can see, it has an output now of 15, power output of 15. So if I just take one item away here, because this is 15 coming in, no output will be able to get out here. So just add one more item. Cool, we got an output. All right, let's take a bit of a look at this shulker box loader I designed right here. So we're reading the fill level through a block with this comparator of the shulker box right here. Right now the shulker box is not full. We're going to put a few more items in there. So once it is full though, this comparator is going to light up. We're using the little redstone block trick I talked about earlier. You don't actually need a repeater right there. I was just using that for demonstrative purposes. Anyway, once the shulker box is completely full, the comparator is going to output a power signal of 15, which can travel up here. It's then going to power this repeater, which pushes this piston down. Because this sticky piston has a little slab on it, it's actually going to break that shulker box. And the shulker box can fit through this soul sand right here because it's smaller than one block. And it's going to go into this hopper and into the chest. But at the same time, that signal also makes its way into the observer because the observer detects the piston moving. And that's going to power this dispenser, which is going to output our next shulker box. So these are all of the other shulker boxes you want. Usually these would be empty, but for demonstrative purposes, they're not going to be empty right now. So this is where you put the empty shulker boxes, and then over here, this is where you chuck the items that you're going to want sorted, or stored, not sorted. So let's quickly look at how this works. If I chuck a few diamonds in here, they're going to make their way into the shulker box here. And the second the shulker box fills up, let's get a good angle here. It's broken, and then the next shulker box is dispensed, and we can see that's filling up right now. Cool. So then we have all of our nice filled shulker boxes down here, and then our dispensers out of shulker boxes. So that's basically how that works. All right, let's talk bulk item storage silos. As you can see, this is a very visually pleasing storage silo I constructed. Basically what a storage silo is, it's a way to store bulk items. So when these chests are full, the little lamp lights up so you can see how much of stone, for example, that you have. Alright, let's fly over here so I can show you how this works. Whoopsies, already items in here. So this chest is full. The second an item enters this hopper, it is going to power this redstone lamp so you know that this chest is full. So it just takes one additional item to indicate the chest is full. And this is the other design for the same thing in order so we can stack them on top of each other. Exact same thing, item enters this hopper. Because the chest is full, this comparator is powered, redstone signal then powers this block, and then repeater powers directly into this block, which lights the redstone lamp up. So we can stack these designs on top of each other, as you can see right here. And then we just keep stacking them on top of each other until we have this big thing. So, if we were to fill up this chest right here, okay, there we go. The redstone lamp's still off, but the second one more item makes its way into this hopper, there we go, okay. This hopper's not full. Then this lamp would light up, so that's pretty cool. Alright, last thing on the list is we have a very effective way to unload a chest. So you got your chest of items, and let's say you want to get these into storage, or you just want to unload a chest very quickly. This is more visually pleasing. There are uses for it, but there's not a ton because you're going to be limited by hopper speed at some point. So let's fill up this chest really quickly here. This is very satisfying, so let me just put some diamond blocks in here. As you can see, they're dispensed very quickly. So that's basically how it works. So we have 2 hopper minecarts pulling items down here, which split the items into 4 hoppers, which then go into 4 dispensers. So we're unloading at 4 times hopper speed right now from a double chest, which is pretty cool. We have a little comparator reading the output, and then we're powering these blocks whenever there's items in there. This is pretty simple, but it's a great way to unload items. Thank you very much for watching an episode of Redstone 101. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing or giving it a like, and thank you.